This is Jordan Williams, and welcome to site visit number 1. I had been working on No Disclaimers for a long time, and I originally had it drop in December. But in the middle of production, after I was done recording everything, I realized that I wasn't in the same place I was as when I started it. So in the middle of the project, I realized that No Disclaimers wasn't a good representation for me. Right now, it's postponed. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna get to it, but the project I had about 13 or 14 songs on it. Getting into NYU changed a lot for me, because if I hadn't gotten into NYU, I probably would have gone to Boston and then moved to New York City a little bit later, but it would have postponed a lot of the things I had planned to do for next year. Like a show in New York City is way different than a show in Boston, you know what I'm saying? You know, I got in February 15th. I'm always gonna remember that day because it was probably one of the best days of my life. I found out, you know, and I cried, not necessarily only because I got into my top school, but like I felt like at that moment in time, my dreams were coming into place. When I get there, I'm definitely gonna hit the ground running. I'm trying to do some collaborations with some of my classmates. It's great being surrounded by people who have the same aspirations as you. So I just can't wait to go there and grow. Well, Human I made during the No Disclaimers era, so I finished that around December. And I wrote Human. I came home from school one day. I had been at school late doing something, so I got home at about maybe 9 o'clock. And for the first time in a while, I just felt like alone. And I had never felt like that before in my life. So it took me about 30 minutes to write Human, the whole thing. It was an experience that was new to me. It was a feeling that was new to me. That feeling of isolation. I felt like at that point I was being judged from all different angles, whether that was from music, from my friends. So I decided to write Human. The last line is, when you look into my eyes, I hope you see it human, because honestly, I'm just out here trying to do things that make me happy. And I came home that night, which was December, I'm pretty sure, and realized that I wasn't doing the things that made me happy, including making music. My creative process changed in the beginning of Human. I think Human signified the change in my music, because that's when I started being honest with my music, when I made Human. You know, I was trying to impress people, and I felt like I lost a best friend. So I wrote Human to try to get some of that sense of security back and comfort. So well, in my new music, you'll probably hear a lot more emotion. My father and my brother Jamar and my brother Bradley all tell me that my music is great. My first mixtape was great. You know, my singles I dropped after that was great. But you didn't hear a lot of emotion in my lyrics. And I don't necessarily think that was because I was recording badly. I honestly think that was because I didn't have the emotion. I think that there was a point where I stopped writing for me. So in my new music, you'll definitely hear some of my thoughts. I write about everything, you know, and I also talk about my music. I tend to write more than I do talk to my best friends about the things going on in my life. So I think the listeners, I don't want to say fans, I think that sounds weird, but the listeners, I think they'll definitely be able to vibe with me on another level, and they'll really get to know me. I think I go so deep with these lyrics that even some of my friends will realize some things that they didn't know about me before until they hear some of these songs. And I think Human was definitely a good starting point to start doing that. Alright, upcoming projects. I'm working on an EP right now. You know, I feel like my listeners haven't really gotten a chance to get to know me yet. And I feel like the EP is definitely a good opportunity for that. For my first mixtape, the critics, the people who gave me reviews online, in person, told me that I was obsessed with this notion of getting famous. And I think at that point I was. And I think now I'm getting back to my roots. I think you'll definitely hear that in this new EP that I'm dropping. I'm not really sure when that'll drop. For the next 6 weeks, starting next week, I'll be working on a completely original EP. So I'm gonna be trying to produce. It'll definitely be a new experience, but I'm excited for that. And then of course along the way I'll be dropping singles because I don't want people to get bored. Yeah. I went to NYU Admitted Students Day, and there's so many people there that are interested in making music. And not only that, but some of them have heard my music, which is awesome, because that way when I get to New York, we can just start collaborating immediately. So, as for them, I definitely hope to collaborate with some of them. And then of course I met some rappers online, networking and stuff. So I'll definitely be doing some more of that soon. I think probably this summer you'll hear a lot of that. Hear a lot of collaboration too. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shout out one group of people or one person every site visit. So this site visit, I'm gonna shout out my major at NYU, which is music business, the class of 2016. That's who I'm gonna shout out right now.
When you look into my eyes, I hope you see a human. I hope you see a human. Yeah.